YouTube, welcome to the White Tower of Hoeth in the beautiful countryside of Lothern. And there is going to be an all-out elf war here. The Dark Elves have invaded, and it is up to the High Elves to push them back out of Lothern or die trying. So we have an awesome 4v4 here. I do think we ended up on medium unit sizes, but it's still going to be a huge battle in terms of the number of units on the battlefield. And we have all four High Elf factions represented. And then we're going to have 4 of the 5 Dark Elf factions represented. Malice was the one who didn't get chosen. It's like that dodgeball game when you're in elementary school and you're just the one who no one got picked. Malice is at home in the Dragon Isles right now crying as we speak and being told it's okay. You can still help out in your own special way. Anyway, let's take a look at the different factions. For the Blessed Dread here, it is going to be led by Lokir, of course. He's got a Feral Manticore in support, and then a Sorceress, Lore of Shadows, and then most of the infantry on our side is just cheap shielded infantry to help against High Elf archers. So you're just going to see some Bleak Swords and Dread Spears and Bleak Swords. Wow, it's just going really bleak on this, but it is the Dark Elves, so bleak is appropriate. There's going to be a couple of Shades out here, and they are supporting some Cold One Knights, so an interesting combination over there, trying to lure people in and then use the Shades against them. And as for the middle, Crone Hellebron's bringing our main infantry support. She has a few units of Black Art Corsairs, as well as a Reaper Bolt Thrower. She is on top of her Cauldron here, so she is ready to make some brew and get into a rampage. She's also got some Shades in the back. And then as far as Nagarond, they are holding up the middle, or I guess they just still call it Dark Elves. CA, you haven't fixed that one? So yeah, Nagarond has a few Bleak Swords up front. They've got a pretty fair load of Dark Shards with shields in the back. They also have a Blackguard of Nagarond for support. And then Malekith on his Dragon Seraphon, I believe is the name of his dragon. And then I am playing as the Cult of Pleasure. It is my pleasure to play as the Cult. Oh. Okay, I won't do it. I promise. Anyway, I've just got cheap, bleak, and dread infantry up front. So bleak, so dread. They are supported by a Death Hag on either flank to make them much more effective at what they do. It will nerf enemy attack around them. And then the Death Hags themselves are quite good against infantry. This is to basically make my cheap infantry line go further. And then I've got a couple of Dark Shards with shields, as well as a Blackguard of Nagarond and a Witch Elf, as well as 2 Cold One Knights. And then, of course, Marathi. She's out doing a little scouting in the woods, and we actually have the Slaaneash's Harvesters out in the corner. Let's check out the High Elf side. For the High Elf side of the battle, of course, it is Alariel the Radiant leading Avalor. She has 3 Eagleclaw Bolt Throwers, and then she has brought the Everqueen's Court Guard and 3 more Sisters of Avalor, as well as some Lothern Sea Guard spread throughout the battlefield, so she is in an all-ranged mode at this point. Tyrion has brought Lothern, and you can see him here astride his horse. He's got his Sunfang and ready to fight. He's also got some Lothern Sea Guard helping to protect the flanks. An interesting way to protect the flank. You know, it is a spear unit, and then they can fire a little from the flank as well. And then you got the Fireborn here, as well as some Illyrian Reavers and Dragon Princes and Silver Helms in the back, protecting the back of this defensive formation. More Illyrian Reavers on the other flank. There is, let's see, for Tyrion's army, he's also got a bunch of these Spearmen up front, as well as a Life Mage. And then as for Teclis and his faction, he is obviously here himself. He's got several units of Swordmasters, so some very heavy infantry, as well as some Phoenix Guard. I missed some White Lions here as well that were brought by Tyrion, my bad. Yep. So, and then Nagaraith, of course, is in the midst with Elithanar, and Nagaraith has also brought White Lions for infantry support, not going on the range support since Alariel has basically already covered it. That ought to give you a good feel for the armies, and let's start calling the battle as it happens. Initially, our artillery was deployed in better position than theirs. Theirs was deployed further back, which gave us immediate shots into the Sisters of Avalor, which are going to be a very quick payback for us if we can do this for any amount of time. So you can see our bolt throwers are targeting the Sisters and getting good damage done, while their bolt throwers are forced to move forward. We will lose the fight between bolt throwers relatively quickly because we are outnumbered. And so our objective here was to get the value out of our bolt throwers quickly by killing as many Sisters of Avalor as possible. And you can see that it's actually somewhat effective here, as the one has already rained quite a bit of destruction down to nearly half health on one Sister. And eventually, though, we'll end up having to move forward and try and use our Dark Shards and Shielded Infantry to absorb the volleys of the High Elves while trying to get some key damage done. Now, Selenice's Harvesters were found by a unit of Fireborn, and they're being pursued by a Flamespire Phoenix and the Fireborn. That's a lot of firepower. Oh, man, Air. What is going on today with the lame jokes? Good grief, I'm going to be censored from the internet. I guess the dad jokes are strong today. I'm going to bring Morathi over to ward this off, and we had some other dragons moving this way, and that is going to put an end to this pursuit. You can see Morathi's headed this direction. She won't want to get the Flamespire Phoenix probably won't want to get tied up in that. So it's at this point we realize we're definitely not going to win the range battles. The other team pulled back their sisters, which is what they should do. You'll see that our bolt throwers are going to continue targeting sisters or other expensive units for the time being, though. Again, we want to just get as much benefit out of those units as we can if they're going to end up losing. Crone Hellebron was a target shortly, but is no longer. You can see one of our bolt thrower crews already lost all of its weapons. Bolt throwers are very good against weapons. There's a little bit of RNG luck to it, but at this time they outnumber us with them, so not unexpected to see their bolt throwers pretty quickly start to overcome ours. And we're going to have to go assail this formation, but I'll let you all enjoy the little bit of artillery trading that's going on right now. See that trade right now. Yeah, the Star Dragon becoming a target here too, after the sisters moved out of range. Decent damage done to one of the Sisters of Avalor. This one only lost 1 unit. This one lost 8 models, I think, and almost half their health. So not a bad idea to try and trade that, but in the end we just did not have enough bolt throwers to really make a huge difference. At the moment, though, their bolt throwers are busy trying to finish off ours, and then they're going to switch their targets to some of our lords, like Crone Hellebron. They don't want her around. That's understandable. I mean, who does want Crone Hellebron around? She's pretty disgusting. I can't say I blame them. But yeah, we're going to try and form a big arch like this all around to try and give the High Elves a lot of targets, and the idea is we'll move up, close the distance with our Dark Shards, and then start to use our Dark Shards with shields. They're not a great target for enemy archers because of their shields, and the Dark Shards can push up, and if the enemy archers move back to try and fire from range, it'll leave some of their units in range, like these expensive infantry. So the idea is one way or the other to create a disparity and then take advantage of it. So you can see, like right now, expensive ammo from Sisters being spent on Bleak Swords. This is a great trade for us. Whatever ammo those Sisters spend on our Bleak Swords is ammo they're not spending on one of our Lords later. So a trade that I'm actually perfectly fine with. Very cheap units and very expensive units on the other side, and they've only got a limited amount of ammunition, so if they decide to spend it on our cheap units, I'm good with that. The Death Hags will become a target for some of these units early. That makes sense, but again, it's a single entity. It's going to eat up a lot of ammo off the Sisters, and I'm kind of okay with it for the moment. The Death Hag's not a bad target, honestly. This gives me a chance to come in here and I start picking apart some Lothern Seaguard. And that's pretty easy exchange for my Dark Shards, just a few volleys and they have it mostly shredded. But the Sisters are not far back either, so I'm going to push forward on my flank. You can see Naggarond has pulled within range and is starting to just mow down the infantry of Lothern. Might not hurt for them to push more forward and go after the White Lions, but you can see now Crone Hellebron moving up on this flank too, so we're going to have a lot of pressure on the High Elves. Now over here, Lokir and his Manticore, as well as cavalry, are going out, maybe seeing if they can draw the High Elves into a poor engagement. Meanwhile, it's just a huge ranged exchange all across the line. You can see Malekith now the target of the bolt throwers, who are already running fairly low on ammo, which is great for us because I don't think their bolt throwers ended up doing fantastic here. Sure, they did some damage to those targets. Look at this, the Everqueen Court Guard was also very greedy for Malekith, and they end up just eating some Dark Shard volleys, so I get a fantastic bunch of volleys in here with my Dark Shard to force back a very expensive Court Guard unit, and at the same time any misses are basically landing in the middle of those White Lions as well, so fantastic firing right now for me, very worth it. I like this Reaper Bolt Thrower crew that was suicided in there by Naggarond. I mean, when you don't have any life left, look at that. White Lions eating it right now. So as we sit back and are able to unload some of our units here, look at the Fiery Convocation coming in from Teclis, and it is just dodged by Crone Hellebron's troops, so pretty fortunate for Crone Hellebron's troops there. You can see over here, Malekith having to use a Soul Stealer to get some of his health back. He's going to go ahead and back up. The Dark Shards just continue to own, and the Dark Elves just hanging just outside of an engagement range and trying to come up with a ranged advantage. Like right here, the Sisters have come up and gotten greedy again. They're not being targeted yet, though, by the not by all the Dark Shards, at least. But this is a great opportunity here. Look at that, a Dark Shard volley just putting a wrecking on them. Now, Lokir dropped down in the middle of some Illyrian Reavers over here, hoping to put a quick hit. It was very close to these Fireborn, and he wasn't able to get airborne. The Manticore did, but for some reason Lokir did not. So now it's a very dangerous situation for Lokir. There's a Star Dragon headed in, and basically the whole house is on the way. And he is attempting to flee, but won't be able to get airborne easily. The Cold Ones need to come in to support. But no one has made the hit yet, so Lokir is about to be in bad shape. I think he's going to get Arcane Unforged. Yep, he's in bad shape now. So Lokir is in a situation where he's done, he's toast, and this fight is going to totally swing into the favor of the High Elves here. All these Dragon Princes will easily trade with Cold Ones who are a little squishy and unreliable in this type of situation. Plus, the High Elves do have the benefit of healing should they need it from Alarielle, so this situation is going to deteriorate for the Blessed Dread. You can see Lokir just dropped, so a very difficult situation. Look at how quickly these Cold One Knights died to the Dragon Princes. It's crazy. I don't think they had an attack order, or else they wouldn't have died that bad. One of my Death Hags is going to kick the bucket here, but my Bolt Throwers are now up on their 3rd Chevron, one of them is, and the other one's working towards it, so they're doing some fantastic work. You can see the Executioners are going to, or sorry, the Sword Masters are going to come up, and then Hellebron's going to have to take an infantry fight over here as well, though some of her big units were being pressured, and they had to fall back until some of these ranged units were not in a good position to fire. See here Sunfang coming in for Tyrion, and Tyrion does get a good engagement right there. Takes down a whole bunch of units. That was a very profitable outing for him. You can see back here Pit of Shades being used to slow down these units. So now the Blessed Dread's got problems all over the right flank on our forces here, and you can see Hellebron pushing an engagement. Hellebron should do okay as far as the infantry that's around, though there are quite a few archers. My Dark Shard, and here comes Murderous Prowess. This is great. Our forces are going to have considerably more melee attack and defense now that Murderous Prowess has popped. Tyrion's going to come into combat and single himself out. I've got some Witch Elves that are going to try and greet him and get him rampaged. You can just kind of see, I'm going to zoom down a little closer so you can see this, but I also want to get the overall view of the fight because it is a pretty epic fight. Crone Hellebron is getting slaughtered by ranged troops right now. It's hard for her to really come in here and help a whole bunch. Oh my goodness, is this another Fiery Convocation coming here? Yeah, it is. And it's a very good placement. Very good placement. Oh, just shreds a couple of Black Ark Corsairs. Didn't do much to the bigger units there. Tyrion gets absolutely throttled by Witch Elves and Marathi, and is literally on his deathbed when then he gets back 1900 hit points. So Tyrion is going to have to be escorted off of the battlefield and try to be dealt with. I take a Cold One Knight into the woods. Unfortunately for me, I do forget that there's a Fireborn cavalry over here, and I don't get it engaged, and the Slaaneash's Harvesters are over there being wrecked by it, so I'm kind of wasting a cavalry. I should have taken that cavalry near immediately and gotten around in here and put pressure on these Sisters. It's a very clutch moment. If these Sisters of Avalor started to take damage, the High Elves are in pretty bad predicament, because then they'll have a whole lot of units that won't be able to deal with some of the ones that we have. Meanwhile, the Star Dragon's over here getting attacked. You can see it's going to get some healing, regrowth there coming in. And then there's going to be a banishment here that's going to really wreck through a bunch more Dark Elf infantry. So Alarielle doing a good job of supporting from a distance. I'm just going to kind of swing back over here. Again, Alarielle supporting these troops, trying to keep them in the fight. It's actually an odd spot for a Star of Avalor, if I'm being honest on that. I wouldn't have expected that. My cavalry got caught here because I wasn't paying attention. So these Dragon Princes out here are just killing it. Meanwhile, my Dark Shards are about to run out of ammo, and I've pretty much run out of targets. I've been biding my time from an engagement for as long as I can, kind of hoping to get as much damage done as possible here. And right now, Marathi is away too, escorting Tyrion off the battlefield. So unfortunately, I don't have a great answer to any of the stuff going on here with the Fireborn, other than just the Witch Elves and the Blackguard, which I will use in order to try and do it. But we did manage to douse Tyrion, and we also hurt this noble on a chariot really bad earlier, so it may not look like I had done a whole lot over here, but I did manage to do a ton of damage to those 2 units. Malekith gets netted, and he's going to be attacked by a Star Dragon. Morathi is going to be coming back, and I will swing Morathi that direction in order to try and help out. You can see she's just rolling in here to try and help chase out the Fireborn as well. Meanwhile, the Blessed Dread and Crone Hellebrand's faction are still trying to push this flank, but they're running low on troops, and especially running low on leadership. You can see the Star Dragon is in pretty big trouble here. I hit it with the Soul Stealer. I probably shouldn't have used the Soul Stealer yet. I was just desperate to try and save Malekith, and really should have just gone ahead and plowed in, because Malekith ends up losing anyway. Though I am able to come in and KO the dragon pretty quickly with Morathi because of its health situation. It got a regrowth, but Morathi is pretty good right there because the dragon didn't have a whole lot of a way to attack back. I still got 1 cavalry unit left over here, but you can see the power bar is actually kind of swinging against us because of the loss of Malekith. They've still got Teclis. Tyrion, annoyingly, somehow managed to live and is making his way back in through the woods. I broke off the pursuit on him, and the Slaaneash's Harvesters chased him, but he managed to come back from routing after like 1 second of not being pursued. A little bit frustrating, but right here there was supposed to be a Vortex spell too, but it didn't go off, so it's a big loss for our team. A Vortex spell right there would have made a huge difference. I don't know who was casting that, honestly. I didn't see it, who the caster was, but someone's caster lost their cast right there. Would have been a beautiful spell. Like a Pit of Shades or something right here from me would have been great. I just didn't see this. This thing is begging for a Pit of Shades right there, so huge mistake on my part. I was so busy getting away from those sisters, and understandably so. Standing there for long would have gotten me killed pretty quickly. But yeah, that was a huge missed opportunity there. Tyrion has plowed back in. There's not a whole lot of troops left here. They still have the 1 Phoenix Guard, though. We should be pushing all of our troops right here to get after these sisters. They don't have a ton of infantry over here, and if we could push the sisters back, that's what would give us the best chance here, just to kind of keep them out away from the fight. Another Heart of Avalor from Alarielle that's very strangely placed there, trying to heal some spearmen. So, an odd choice. I would have think that you'd save that for your big Zerg crew, like when that dragon was getting hurt on pretty bad. So the sisters may end up being the deciding factor here. The battle's actually kind of souring against the Dark Elves, and understandably so. With the sisters, it's becoming an almost untenable situation. I do have some remnants of cavalry that regrouped in the woods, and I'm going to make an attempt to get at the Sisters of Avalor, and it's moving in from back here. And then I have the 1 other cavalry unit over here that I'm going to be swinging around into the woods as well. See if we can make our way over to the Sisters. It's a very close fight. These Fireborn over here are paying some huge dividends, though. We didn't kill them early on, and there's a few more units of cavalry. There's some shades that are coming back, but they're a long ways from the battle. So these Fireborn over here are actually causing some pretty severe problems, and our inability to get to the Sisters is a big issue. A big issue indeed. Just don't have a lot of infantry left, and what infantry I have is trying to deal with some Phoenix Guard. So got to figure out what to do here. I do manage to single out a couple of units of Sisters, even if it's just for a second. Any kills I get here are going to be important with this unit of Cold One Knights. Take whatever I can get, literally. Even if it's just killing a few unit models and disrupting, it'll feel worth it. But Morathi ends up having to come over and try and help. She ends up taking a big hit that I didn't expect here, and she got hurt really bad early in this fight, and then Alarielle is just doing some punk charges here. Very skillfully, I might add, where she just won't stay in the fight because the Blackguard are down here, and I can't blame her. I mean, no one's going to want to stay in a fight around these Blackguard. And I'm just trying desperately. I need 2 winds of magic. If I hadn't wasted the Soul Stealer earlier, I would be in pretty good shape right here. At least for the moment. Not good shape because we still have archers to deal with, but I am swinging another cavalry around to get a shot at these archers. So if I had saved a Soul Stealer, might be enough to help try and turn this around, because I got my Blackguard here. The High Elves don't have a whole lot of infantry left to fight that. And if I could have kept Morathi alive in the midst of these Blackguard, it would have been huge, but we just can't, and then the army losses start to pile up. Epic battle here. This is a fun one. Really fun. An elf civil war. We'll come up with some more themes. I know you all like these 4v4s. I had a ton of fun with this one. It was really a great battle, and we had a good time with it. There was a point in it in which I thought we really held some advantages, And but the elves did a good job of turning a few things around. Our loss of Lokir on the flank was very painful. It was really just a little bit of bad luck there, as the timing was decent, and Golden Eagle was trying to pull out, but Lokir just didn't make it back into the air, even though the Manticore did. And had that been flip, it may have changed things massively on that flank. Having Lokir still available with the support of all those shades and stuff may have gone good, but may have just been overstretched on that flank. I'm not sure. Some of the knights did pretty good though for Golden Eagle, and he has managed to stay in the fight for a long time with the shades and cause a lot of issues. And tried to keep that right flank alive for as long as he could. For me, really, the only unit Morathi doesn't have a ton of kills. She did get a ton of damage done. Remember, she totally tanked Tyrion. And then she also got rid of a dragon. So Morathi, even though it doesn't look great on the face here, it did manage to do some damage. And then really my Dark Shards here gained 3 chevrons during the fighting. So that was really the only unit that I did well with. My cavalry was completely misused. Had I used my cavalry better, I may have been able to kill those archers and potentially made this a lot closer fight, so that one's on me. I had opportunities. Rivyak holding up the center here. Malika did unfortunately get netted and knocked down. He probably just didn't see that one coming. However, his Dark Shards also got some really important work done. You can see them. I think that he said his started with 1 chevron, but all of his ended with 3 chevrons, which means that they picked up some serious damage during the battle. His War Hydra not able to get a whole lot done in terms of kills. I didn't get to see what all it fought, though. Crone Hellebron was a target early in this fight, and it was rough for her to try and stay alive. And then there was a couple of good spells that did a ton of damage to her infantry, so kudos to the High Elves on that. I think it was Isidore here with Alariel picking up a very nice banishment. And then I believe it was Teclis with the Fiery Convocation the second time that actually got some pretty good work done. A couple of their Swordmasters did okay-ish here. None of them picked up a chevron, but they did manage to get a decent number of kills. I'm not sure what the chevron situation was on the Star Dragon. Somehow doubt he earned 4, but you never know. He did get some work done. I think this was the same dragon that was involved in the fight with... that was the dragon that was involved in the fight with Lokir. So he no doubt probably picked up some experience there, to be sure. Let's check out the rest of these. So Ikat Claw, Tyrion did get his Sunfang in there, which managed to get him a bunch of kills, even though he kind of got dumped on early by Morathi, so he still managed to get some work done. And then as far as kills, nothing else too spectacular, but Ikat Claw managed to help them hold on to the end, which was a big key to their victory. And then Teclis did some netting, got the Fiery Convocation. This Noble did manage to get a decent number of kills. It got dumped early by my Blackguard, but managed to come back later and pick up some of those kills. So it was nice work on their part. And then Pratani here using Ulthuan as an infantry lord, but mostly it was the Fireborn and the Dragon Princes here that did some big work for Pratani that ended up really being clutch for the team. So nice work by Pratani. And then Isidore here. I didn't love the placements of the Star of Avalor, which is not me being like cruel. I mean, obviously, because I totally screwed up my cavalry. It's not like I don't have things to improve. Just stating. But the Sisters of Avalor did manage to stay alive through the whole fight, and that in and of itself is huge. They don't look like they have a bunch of kills, but the effort that we expended trying to kill these ended up almost kind of being our undoing, because there was a better way to kill them had I just been patient with my cavalry and roamed around the flank a little more. I think that I could have gotten some good hits or used a Pit of Shades at the right moment. So Isidore did a good job keeping these units alive and keeping us scared of them, which kind of forced most of our movement, and in the end, they won. So congrats to the other team. Thank you for all the players for participating. If you want to participate in awesome big battles like this, you should be a member of my Discord. That's where I go on. I post an announcement whenever I'm going to get a chance, and I let everybody come join in voice chat. We even stream it sometimes since everybody can't join. I mean, stream it on the Discord so that people who can't join can listen in on the chat and watch the battle as it's unfolding. So please come on by and see us there. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll be back with more soon.